Welcome back to the LNX Files. As always, this is a safe space for all things spooky. And today we're going to use these tarot cards to do what's probably the last spread that we'll ever do on the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial. Because as we know, closing arguments, the jury's deliberating. That's why I'm wearing this blazer. Things are serious here, folks. So we're gonna take a look at where the energy is heading. The last video we did on this, I'm gonna link at the end. Wasn't very good for Johnny's team. Didn't look good. So let's see if there have been any changes or reversals in energy. So let's just get right down to it. Okay, and I'm cutting the cards with my non-dominant hands like so. Let's just revisit their immediate astrological charts, starting with Amber. So as we know, no one knows Amber's rising sign. One of you, as I've said before, said that she's a Cancer rising. Can anyone send me a link of any data or how we can verify this? Because right now we're just going off the fact that she is a Taurus, with her moon in Libra. So her moon is in an air sign, which is a little more unstable for it. Libra is ruled by Venus, so in some ways it's hospitable to the moon, the emotional center. But keep in mind, there's a lot of duality with Libra. There's a lot of trying to find balance, trying to bring the emotions into balance. And of course, with Libras, that can often look like madness to the rest of the world. Amber Heard also has some aspects of her chart that are worth noting. So first off, Mercury, the planet of communication, is for her in Aries. So that's a fire sign. That's Aries the ram. That's passionate, explosive at times, tantrumy. And it's immediately squaring Mars, the god of war. What this means is that for Amber, Mercury and Mars are very, very combative. It's also important to note that with Amber, Mercury is also in direct opposition to her moon. It's an aspect of her chart which is really hard to ignore. So the planet of communication is at war with her emotional center, which means that she might express herself or she might communicate in ways that her heart knows aren't right or aren't correct or aren't authentic. And, with Taurus folk, they're often practical, stable, and in touch with reality, as Amber has her sun in Taurus. But, if you're a Taurus and you have not done that emotional work and you have not looked inward and you're not taking responsibility, what you have is a bull in a china shop. You have a very agitated bull, which is just kind of kicking its limbs around all the time. So with Mr. Depp, he is a Gemini. Yep. He's a Gemini, and I really do believe that he has the two sides of his personality. I think that the twin comes out a lot for him, and in some ways that's why he's a talented actor, but also we've seen this on the stand when he's been testifying. We've seen the very polite, Southern gentleman Johnny, and then we've seen the sort of exhausted actor that's tired of being interrupted and thinks that he's very special and shouldn't be interrupted. That said, I am of course Team Johnny. He's got the Leo rising, confident, charismatic, sometimes arrogant, able to handle the exposure and the demands of fame. And then he's got that Capricorn moon. So that is in part why he was with Amber and associated with her for as long as he was. Because even though Capricorn is an uncomfortable place for the moon to be in because it's such a hard-nosed sign, it's so black and white, it's ruled by Saturn, it's a place of absolutes, are we doing this or not? It's got a lot of rough edges, which the emotional center doesn't like. That's a sign that commits. That's a sign that's okay, we're doing this. Even though his marriage to her was so short-lived, they were together for around 4 or 5 years in total when things were so bad. So I would argue that that is in part because of his Capricorn moon. Let's see where the energy is heading. Let's invoke the guides. Guides, we thank you for speaking to us clearly and unambiguously. All right, Johnny, Amber. Oh no, wait, that's so weird. I usually do it reversed, but today I didn't. Usually I put the women on the right side and the men on the left side, but today I reversed it without thinking. Okay, let's just go with it. All right, Johnny, Amber, helping or hurting the situation and where the energy is heading. That's interesting. Okay, so let's, I guess, start with Johnny. What's Johnny's external vibe towards Amber? Okay, so we got the sun. So the sun is a card of triumph. It's a card of optimism, success, happiness, cheer. It's a card of we did it. This is a sign that at least externally, Johnny is acting like he has won. And as far as we're concerned, in the court of public opinion, he pretty much has. Okay. So let's look at Amber's external vibe towards Johnny. Interesting. Okay. So we got the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So upright, the Knight of Pentacles. It's one of the fuckboy cards of the deck. It's a card of passivity. It's a card which suggests, you know, losing sight of the forest for the trees. So this is a card of ambiguity. This is a card where it's unclear if these fields have been plowed or if they've been completely neglected. All we know is that this guy's really focused on this Pentacles and there are greater needs here. So when this card comes up in reverse, it can indicate, you know, starting to take action or starting to see that you need to look at the bigger picture here instead of just looking at the leaves and forgetting about this greater force that's surrounding you. So I think that at least in terms of Amber's feelings and thoughts towards Johnny, she's starting to realize that there's a bigger picture here, which is that she's just detonated her career as far as she's concerned. Like there's a much bigger issue at stake here, not just this court case, but that this is going to mean she's probably going to need security. She's probably might need to go into hiding, that like the general public just hates her and that there's a much bigger issue that she's starting to realize. Okay, well, good girl. I'm glad you woke up. Now let's look at Johnny's internal vibe towards Amber after all this stuff. Weird. Okay, so we got the Eight of Cups in reverse. So the Eight of Cups is the classic breakup card. This is a card that says, hey, these 8 cups, you're not giving me what I need. I need to put on my red cloak of passion and go in search of what I'm going to find. So this card comes up all the time, leaving partnerships, leaving jobs, leaving relationships. So when this card comes up in reverse, it's a feeling of wanting to leave but can't. Whatever it was about this court case, it hasn't given him emotional closure for everything that went down between them. I don't think that he's pining for her. I don't think he's like, oh, I wish we could get back together, or like, oh, I wish we hadn't broken up. I don't think that's what this means at all. I feel like he's been forced to revisit the past and it's disrupting any healing that he had done in it, at least at this point. Now let's look at what's going on internally with Amber towards Johnny. This makes no sense. This makes no sense. Unless it does. Okay, so we got the Six of Pentacles upright. So the Six of Pentacles is a card of generosity. Somebody who's more fortunate giving to those who are less fortunate. I think that she's hoping he'll be generous to her. I think she thinks that she's gonna lose and that she's just like, you know, he has the power to like ask his fans not to terrorize me. And that she's just like, well, maybe he'll be kind to me and he'll give me like what I need after this. Like he could ask his fans to be like, hey, don't terrorize Amber, but will he, you know? Now let's see what's helping or hurting the situation. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we got the Six of Wands. I like this. I like this. So it's a card of success, triumph. There's a writer here. He came back from battle and people are like, woo! This is great. And also there's someone here in the background, if you look closely, who's looking at him with resentment and envy. So that could symbolize Amber. So it may just be that the jury's still out, right? As I've said before, in the court of public opinion, he is riding high. So this is impacting the resolution. This is impacting the answer, because keep in mind, the jury's not sequestered. They have to go home to their families and their friends who are watching the news and are looking on the internet and who are reading stuff. They could be influenced by them. Okay, and where is the energy heading? Okay, so we're gonna have to pull another card because I don't know how to interpret this, and we did ask the guides to please not be ambiguous. So we got the Knight of Swords in reverse. So the Knight of Swords, this is that high energy, super masculine card. It's one of the fuckboy cards of the deck that's just kind of like, I'm gonna buy a house and flip a house and make $1 million, and then I'm gonna move to Belize and I'm gonna do some offshore trading, and then I'm gonna like trade crypto and own Bitcoin, and I'm gonna buy a Tesla. Ah! So when this card comes up in reverse, it's just sort of like either that energy hasn't lasted or just the fight has gone out of someone. And we don't know how to interpret this. So is the fight going out of Johnny because things are going to rule in his favor and he's not going to need to fight anymore? Or is he just going to be so beleaguered by the decision that he's going to lose the fight that's inside of him? The passion that he has to clear his name and to have justice served. So sorry folks, but we got to pull another card, guides. Okay, guides, I know you don't want to spoil it for us, but can you just tell us what the jury is going to decide? Oh, interesting. Interesting. Well, I mean, to me, it's hopeful. It's a very hopeful card. So we got the Hierophant upright. So the Hierophant symbolizes institutions. You know, this is the Pope. He symbolizes, you know, a religious institution. This is a card that comes up for big corporations, banks, universities, major studios. And it's also a card that comes up for things like the institution of marriage, so major societal institutions. So essentially what the guides are saying, they're just like the courts and the court systems. And we're like, yeah, we know. The whole situation is in court. And it's just kind of like, to me, this is symbolizing the ancient institution of justice, which the fact that this card came up upright signifies to me that justice will prevail. The courts exist to implement justice. They are an ancient institution to right the wrongs of society and human behavior. So to me, this is optimistic. You know, it's not a slam dunk, but you know, I'm optimistic. So that's what I got for you guys. Comment below, what do you think the verdict of this trial is going to be? Like and subscribe, and as always, we'll do this again.